Okay, so today we're going to be solving equations. So if you don't have a piece of paper and something to write with in front of you right now, pause the video and get it so that you can be solving these equations with me, because it's important for you to go through the steps while I'm doing it. So here we go. When two expressions are equal to each other, everything we've done so far have been expressions and no equal signs. And now we're going to talk about, well, when there's an equal sign, how do you do that? Okay, so when there's an equal sign, that's called an equation. And we can solve equations by following these rules. It's the same rules every single time, no matter what equation it is. So if you have your piece of paper in front of you, go ahead and write down just the equation. You don't need to bother copying all of this down. Just the equation over here, our example, because that's the one we're going to start with. So here we go. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a line down our equal sign, because obviously there's going to be two sides of the equal sign if you're drawing a line. So there's the left side and the right side, and we want to make sure that we don't start mixing things together that are on different sides. So we draw the line to make it nice and clear which is which. So draw the line, check. Next thing, I'm checking, are there any parentheses? So like on Tuesday when we did distributing, there would be parentheses in here somewhere. I'm looking right now, I don't see any parentheses, so we can go ahead and skip this step. It's not there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look to see, can I combine like terms? So this is when you add the letters with letters and numbers with numbers. Okay, you are only looking on each side of the equal sign separately. So I'm only looking at this left side where it says 6x minus 3. Could I add 6x and negative 3? No, I cannot, because this has a letter. This is just a number, so no. On the right side, 21 is alone, so there's nothing to combine with that. So I can skip that step. I don't do all the steps every time. It depends what's in the equation. And in this equation, there were no parentheses and no combined like terms. Okay, great. Step number 4, we're going to move x's so that they are on the same side. Usually, I like to move the x's so that they're on the left side. So I'm going to check, are there x's on more than just the left side? Well, right now I have the 6x over here on the left. On the right, do I have any x's? No, I only have 21. So I'm going to skip that step 2. All my x's are already together. Next step, we are moving the naked numbers. So the plain regular numbers, if we're moving our x's to the left, we're going to move our regular naked numbers to the right side. Okay, because I need to have my x's and my numbers separate. So that means if I'm looking on this side with x, is there a naked number? Yes, this negative 3. I need to move that to the other side of the line. Anytime I move a number from one side of the equal sign to the other side, the way I move it is by doing the opposite sign of what it is right now. So if I look at this negative 3 right now, it's negative. When I'm going to move it, I'm not going to do the same sign. I'm not going to subtract. I'm going to add 3. Okay? Because when I do that, negative 3 plus 3 adds up to 0, and it will cancel out on this side. Okay? But I do have to do it on both sides. Whatever I do on one side, got to do it on the other side. So I have plus 3 plus 3. Okay? Now we just said negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So when it adds up to 0, that's when I cross it out, okay? The 6x was not part of it. I'm just going to bring that down. That is still on this side of the equal sign. Nothing has changed about that. So I have 6x on this side. On the other side, I have 21 plus 3. Now you would type that in your Desmos calculator, and when you type 21 plus 3, you get 24, okay? So yay, we did that step. Check. And last step is almost always the same. We're always just going to divide. Now, what do I divide by? Well, you're going to divide by what number is with the x right now. So here's my x. The number with it right now is 6. So when I divide, I'm going to divide by 6. That little line right there, that means divide. Okay, so I divide by 6 on this side. Well, if I do it on one side, I got to do it on the other side. Divide by 6. Well, why do I divide by the same number? Well, when you do 6 divided by 6, That turns out to be 1. And we know when it's a 1 next to the letter, we don't have to write that anymore. So that's going to get canceled out as well. And you get x equals, because now x is alone, it's just 1x. Yay. On the other side, 24 divided by 6, when you type that in the Desmos, what do you get? You get 4. Okay. And now my x is alone. I know x is this number. So that means that's my answer. I have figured out what x was. Okay. So we do these rules every single time, no matter what the equation looks like. So let's go to the next example. Go ahead on this next one. Go ahead, write this down. 3x plus 6 equals 24. And we're going to solve it together. And as you can see, I have the steps up for every single question. So I can follow the steps every single time. So step 1, draw the line down the equal sign. So here, where's my equal sign? Right here. Draw the line. Separate my sides. Check. Next step, I am checking for parentheses. So if I look in my equation, I don't see any parentheses. They're the things that look like this. Parentheses, those are ugly, but parentheses, they're not there. Not doing it. Next thing, I'm checking for combined like terms. So I'm checking on this left side. Can I add 3x plus 6? No, I cannot, because this has an x and this is just a number. So they don't go together. On the right side, I'm looking, can I add something together? No, because there's only one number. So we're not combining like terms in this one either. Step 4, moving x's to the same side. So I'm checking. On this side, I have an x. And on the right side, are there any x's? No. So I skip that step. Next step, move the naked numbers. So just my plain regular numbers, I need to move them from the left side to the right side. Well, what's the regular number on this left side? Is this positive 6? If it's a positive 6, how do I move it? Well, I have to do the opposite. So the opposite of positive is negative. So minus 6, minus 6. Now I draw that line. That line to me is like, oh, we're doing a computation. So we're either adding or subtracting something, okay? So positive 6 minus 6, we know that adds up to 0. So I don't have to write it anymore. This 3x is still here. Nothing happened to that. I'm going to bring it down. Equal sign. 24 minus 6 is 18. That was my computation. That's what I actually typed in the calculator. Okay, so check, move the naked numbers. Last step, I am dividing. Well, what do I divide by? I divide by the number with x. What is the number with x up here? It's a 3. So when I divide, I put divide by 3. Divide by 3. Because I only want to move the number. I don't want to move x. I want x to be over here by itself. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. That goes away. I'm left with x equals, well, what is 18 divided by 3? If you type that in Desmos, you're going to figure out that it's 6. And that's my final answer. I have x alone. Now I know what x is. X is 6. Let's do another one. Go ahead, write this equation down up there. 3x plus 5 equals 17 minus x. Okay, first thing, draw the line down the equal sign. I got to find my equal sign right here. Draw the line all the way down. Check. Okay, then I'm checking. Are there any parentheses? I'm checking. This does not count over here. That means question number 2. So in my equation, no parentheses. It's not there. Okay, great. Next one, combine like terms. So I'm checking on the left side. Can I add 3x with 5? No. Can I add 17 and negative x? No. So there's no combining like terms either. All right, next, we're moving the x's on the same side. So I want my x's to be on the left. So obviously I have an x here. Do I have an x on the right side? Yes, I have that negative x, so I actually have to move it now. If I want to move negative x, now we know that really means it's negative 1x. If I want to move that to the other side, well, I got to follow the rules. I got to do the opposite sign of what it is right now. So right now it's negative. So to move it, I'm going to do plus 1x. And when I like write it underneath over here, I got to put plus 1x underneath the thing that's actually going to add with x. So which one of these has an x? The 3x. So I'm going to put plus 1x under the 3 because that's what I'm actually going to add with it. So -1 plus 1 is 0. That cancels out. 17 is here. Plus 5. I'm not adding that with x, so that also comes down. Woo. Stop writing. There we go. 3x plus 1x. Well, 3 plus 1 is 4, and it had an x, so that's still there. And my equal sign's in the middle. Okay, great. That is what moving x's on the same side looks like. Now I'm checking to move my naked numbers. So any plain numbers do I have? Well, let's see. I want to move them away from the x, so I'm going to move them to the right side. Well, I have this 5. That's a plain. That's got to move to the other side. It's a positive right now. How do I move it? Well, I'm going to -5, -5. Draw the line. +5 -5, that's 0, so that cancels out. 4x comes down. That's still here. I haven't changed that yet. 17 minus 5, if you type that in Desmos, that's 12. So check, that was moving the naked numbers. Next step, I'm dividing. What am I going to divide by? Well, what's the number that's with x right now? 4. So I'm going to divide by 4. Divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so they cancel out, and I get x equals, what's 12 divided by 4? 3. 3. Check. Okay. Another example. There's lots of different types of equations, so we want to make sure we see some of all of them. So go ahead, you're going to write this one down. 8x plus 1 minus 3x equals 31. Write that down. I'm going to start. So, starting it out, draw the line down the equal sign. Where's my equal sign? Right here. Draw the line. Second step, are there parentheses? Do I look? I look. No parentheses. We're not doing it. Great. Next step, combine like terms. So I'm checking on this left side. Can I add any of that together? This time I can. What can I add together? Well, I have 8x and -3x. X and x, I can add those together. Okay, well, what is 8 plus -3? If you type that in Desmos, you get 5x. Okay, so that was me adding together. Can 1 add with anything? No. So that's just coming down. Okay, it doesn't have to add together. I don't have to add everything together. Okay, the 1 is still here. It is unchanged. Bring it down. On the other side, can I add 31 with anything? No, because 31 is alone. There's nothing else over there, so we're going to put 31. So combine like terms, check. All right, next step, moving the x's on the same side. So I'm checking, on my left side I have an x. Do I have an x on the right side? No, so I can skip that step. I don't need to move my x's to the same side because there's only one x. Yay. The next step, we're moving naked numbers. So on my side with x, are there any plain naked numbers? Yes, this one. How am I going to move it? Well, I got a plus or minus. Which one am I going to do? Opposite of plus, so I need to -1. -1. +1 minus 1 is 0. That cancels out to a 0. 5x is still here. 31 minus 1, you type in the calculator. What do we get? 30. So move naked numbers, check. And last step, we're dividing. What are we going to divide by this time? Well, what's the number with x? It's 5. So divide by 5. Divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 30 divided by 5 is 6. So check. That's my final answer. X is 6. Here's the last one we're doing together, and then you're going to do it. Okay, so go ahead and write this down. 2 parentheses, 8 minus 3 parentheses equals 12 minus 7x. First step, I got to find my equal sign. Here it is right in the middle, so I'm going to draw the line straight down. Check. Did it. Here we go. First step, I'm checking, are there parentheses? This time there are. Here they are. That's what I'm talking about. So we got our parentheses right there. We know that means, oh, you got to multiply. What am I multiplying into the parentheses? Well, that's what the 2's out there for. So I'm doing 2 times x and 2 times negative 3. We know this really means it's a 1. You can't really see that, but it's a 1x. So 2 times 1 is 2. No x's with an x, that means x is in it. And then over here, 2 times negative 3 should be negative 6. You just type that in your Desmos. Okay. On the other side, are there any parentheses over there? No. So I'm not going to multiply anything over there. That just comes down. That did not change. I didn't do anything to that, so it's the same. Just bring it down. So that's what you do when there's parentheses. And now we keep going. Can I combine like terms? So on the left side, can I add 2 plus negative 6? No, because this has an x, this does not. On the right side, can I add 12 plus negative 7? No, this does not have an x, this has an x. So there's no combining like terms this time. Next step, move x's on the same side. So I want my x's over here on the left. So I'm checking on the right. Are there x's to move? Yes, there's the negative 7x. How do I move it? Am I going to plus or minus? Well, right now it's minus, so I got to do the opposite. Plus 7x. I'm going to write it underneath the 2x because that's what I'm actually adding. Like I wouldn't do negative 6 plus 7. I would do 2 plus 7. Okay? So over here, negative 7 plus 7 is 0. That goes away. I didn't do anything to 12. Bring it down. I did not do anything to negative 6. Bring it down. 2x plus 7x. 2 plus 7 is 9. There was an x before. There's still an x. Equal sign in the middle. So check. That was moving the x's. Next step, moving the naked number. So our plain numbers. Are there any plain numbers on the left? Yes. There's a negative 6. How do I move it? Am I going to plus or minus? Well, it's already minus, so I got to do the opposite. Plus 6. Plus 6. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. That goes away. 9x is here. 12 plus 6, when you type it in, is 18. Okay. Last step, we're going to divide. What am I dividing by? Well, what's the number with x? It's 9. So we're going to divide by 9. Divide by 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. That goes away. I get x equals 18 divided by 9 is 2 when you type that in. So that's my final answer. X is alone. Okay, if you need to rewatch any of those steps, go ahead and do that right now. Otherwise, move on to your next assignment.